Hey everyone! I just noticed that the game Wordle has shifted its base URL from whatever UK site to New York Times because New York Times recently has purchased it. And this broke my solution to the Wordle game. So let's update our tests a little bit. The first thing I've done already was to go to the Cypress JSON file and change the base URL to the new URL. Now notice when it visits the site, it actually redirects from the URL to URL plus index.html. So we have a couple of ways of avoiding unnecessary redirect. We can visit the index.html. In that case, we directly get there, okay? Or we can probably put the index.html right here in the base URL, and instead of visiting slash or page, we'll just visit an empty string. So every time we change Cypress JSON, you have to restart spec because it closes the browser in order to load the new thing. Okay, so we cannot visit an empty space because Cypress by default assumes it's a URL. It has to add a trailing slash. Okay, no big deal. We can just still do this. Now, the second thing that I've noticed is the command that goes into local storage and gets the solution of the game state object fails. So let's open the console, click on the error just to see if we have any more details. Okay, we get the window and cannot get local storage game state object. Let's look at the application and let's look at the local storage for the domain. Notice we're looking for game state, but it actually has the key New York Times Wordle state. So we have to update our its command to get that particular key. Okay, and in this case, nice, we updated the game and now it works again. Now, another thing you might have noticed, a few of those extra downloads. If we look under the network and we look at all the JavaScript the game is loading, well, New York Times makes its living by selling ads, right? So all of a sudden we get all this extra stuff, okay? So we want to avoid loading this, right, for every test. We might have a test that just loads everything and checks that these scripts do not break anything. But I don't want to wait for this Google Tag Manager to load. So the way to do this is to go to Cypress JSON and say, okay, well, where's the block hosts, right, list? Well, we probably don't want to load anything from this domain. I don't want to load anything from this domain. What else do we have? On Google Tag Manager, what is this? This is the main game. Google Tag Manager, tags. I don't want to load that, so we're gonna add them. Now let's see if we load the spec, if it changes anything. Okay. Now notice by using blockHosts, Cypress automatically returns 500 error for those domains. So that's pretty nice and fast, and we're only loading the scripts that we really need to play the game.